Survivor 50 is on the horizon, and after a pretty mediocre, terrible Survivor 48, it's time to put all of our focus on Survivor 50 casting. And last year, my best video on this channel ever was putting forth my own Survivor 50 cast, Heroes vs. Villains 2, of Survivor 1 to Survivor 46. Well, we had 2 new seasons of Survivor, we had some kind of change in my personal opinion, we got some changes going on, so sit back and let me pitch you my perfect cast for Survivor 50, Legends vs. New Era. That's right, last year I did my Heroes vs. Villains 2, and you can kind of see my cast list here. You know, people like Amber Mariano, Carolyn, Jonathan Young on the Heroes tribe, Villains tribe filled with people like Q, Shan, Dee, Angelina, and I gotta say, I'm still kind of happy with my core base here. You're gonna see a lot of similar faces on my New Era vs. Legends season, and a lot of newer, different faces that I think people will be happy to see. Now, of these 20 individuals, 10 on Heroes, 10 on Villains, who did I cut? Well, first up, Jonathan Young gets cut for me because I think he'd be too big of an advantage in challenges for a New Era tribe, and we don't want to see a Legends tribe getting pagonged. I also took out Chris Underwood. I think he had a fine time on the challenge, but I also don't see anybody looking to have Chris Underwood back as a winner who won in probably one of the most least popular ways. King George I'm taking out from Survivor Australia because we're getting Survivor Australia versus the World later this summer, including Cirie Fields, Tony Vlachos, and Parvati Shallow from the American side. Expect me to give some coverage on the channel for that season whenever it comes out this summer because it has a loaded cast, and I'm looking forward to seeing how our US Legends do against the Australian Legends. Sophie Clark as well, another winner. Hasn't seen much presence on anybody wanting her in this season, so I decided to pull Sophie out and put somebody else in, and then Venus Vafa from Survivor 46. She was a big popular character, but again, as time went on, I feel like Venus as a character kind of left my image per se, so I decided to put some other people in here in this new season. And we're just going to start off with the Legends tribe. The Legends tribe for me is a mix of old era legends to, your 20s type era to your 30s type era. I think it's pretty well rounded, and we're going to start off with my first person to go over, Amanda Kimmel. She's been all over social media for people's want, coming from Survivor China, second place, Survivor Micronesia, second place. Amanda Kimmel getting in Heroes vs. Villains pretty far in the journey. I think she would be a great addition to the Legends tribe. For me, she's kind of filling that Sophie Clark role, and somebody I would love to see have a chance to win $1 million again on the island being sole survivor. We're also bringing back one half of the Survivor royal couple, and not Boston Rob, but Amber Mariano. I still think Survivor 50 should have a Mariano in there, and Amber didn't really get a chance to play Survivor 40 because, well, Boston Rob was in the game too, and they weren't going to ever let her and him be involved. So Amber, I want to get another chance solo on the island and see what she can do. From David vs. Goliath, we have Angelina Keeley, or I think she was in David vs. Goliath. Great, great character. Somebody to root for, somebody to root against. I think she'd be great on this season. I had her in my first Heroes vs. Villains tribe, and she's staying in my Legends tribe here. Joining her on the Legends tribe, also from Heroes vs. Villains, Christian Hubicki, David vs. Goliath. He is probably the standout person from that season. Such great confessionals, such great knowledge of the game, so great to have in talking in tribal council. I want to see Christian back on that island, and I want to see him play for all the reasons that I had in my previous Survivor 50 cast. He's sticking there as well. Now, I might have taken off King George on my list because he's playing Survivor Australia versus the World, but there's no way No way we have a Survivor 50 have a culmination of Survivor without giving Cirie Fields a chance at winning U.S. Survivor. She is the person who has never won that may be the best player ever. We're talking about people giving away their immunity necklace. We're talking about one of the first pre-planned plurality votes in Survivor Exile Island. We're talking about the person who left the game in Game Changers because she was the only person without an idol. Cirie Fields is a winner on the Traitors, and she deserves one final chance to be sole survivor, and she is a legend of all legends. Who else would join Cirie from that same era, in my opinion? Survivor winner Earl Cole. A great game in his season that he won. I want to see Earl back on the island and show everybody else that season, despite it being have-nots and haves and not maybe being the best season to watch, that he's a proven winner and he's somebody that I'd love coming back and give the recognition to throughout all of his career. Who may be the most successful person post-Survivor? Mike White. White Lotus is a gigantic hit and has been consistently an Emmy-nominated show, an Emmy-winning show for some of its roles on HBO. And Mike White was a finalist in his season, and I think it's time to bring him back. Maybe the White Lotus was filmed next season. Put him on that island for the 26 to 39 days. If it were up to me, it'd be 39 days. And let's have a high-profile person back on Survivor, and he was great on there. And yeah, he's one of my new additions with Amanda Kimmel. As from my previous cast on here, I would have Mike White on here 100%. Another new person on this cast from my previous time casting, Ozzy Lust. Ozzy from, Cook Islands, Ozzy from Micronesia, Ozzy from South Pacific, Ozzy from Game Changers. He's here to make sure these guys, I think, have a chance in challenges. And I think Ozzy has always been an interesting character in different ways. I think your more casual fans will be happy to see him back. He gives that island mojo. He is a legend of this game, another person who never won this game. Might not be everybody's favorite choice that you can bring back, but I do think there's a crowd that will love him, and I do think he would be needed for me, this Legends tribe, to still be competitive against the new era people who are younger and fresher coming off more recent Survivor. Then I have the king of the podcast, Rob Sestranito, from Rob Has a Podcast on this season. Again, I don't know if he's actually going to be on this season, but it just feels right to have somebody who gives so much to the Survivor community be on this 50th season and give him another chance after All-Stars where, he wasn't in the Rob father's plans. There could only be one Rob on the island, and that day I went to Rob Mariano. Well, now it's Sestranito's chance in Survivor 50 if it were up to me, Legends versus New Era. And then my final person I would have on the Legends team is a Survivor winner all the way back to Marquesas, Vecepia Towery. It'll be a crime if I don't see Vecepia on the 50th season together. She should have been at Winners at War. She should have been in this season. She was a great winner and what was one of the most influential seasons of making Survivor itself. Whether you have Boston Rob, you have Sean on that season, but Vecepia, the way she navigated through, and it really gave us the most, I think, evolutionary season of Survivor that allowed it to go beyond what it was previously into a more strategic type game. Vecepia is the winner that owns that, and I think she needs to be on this. And if it was me, she would be the final persons on my Legends tribe. Who's on my New Era tribe? Great question. Well, I think New Era has a star that we saw on the Traitors this year, and that's Carolyn Wigger. I don't know if Carolyn is overexposed for some people, but she was amazing on the Traitors. Great TV, proves she's a great strategist. I want her on this island because I just want to see more Carolyn. She's absolutely somebody I want to see on my television. She has shown the intelligence to understand the game. I think people will understand and trust her more now, especially seeing on the Traitors. she would just do wonderful on Survivor 50. Again, great confessionals, great character. You cannot think of the new era without thinking about Carolyn. 0 vote finalist, but I think going back to the game, people know who she is, and if she made that final, there'd be a lot more respect on Carolyn's game. Next up is another winner. Dee Valadares is somebody who had probably one of the most dominant game wins in Survivor, I think, period, not just the new era. The way she was able to handle Julie, Austin, and crew, she was great in confessionals. She's a great personality. I think she has a lot of fans out there. I know she just did a season of the challenge. I don't know what her results are, but bring her onto the islands for Survivor 50. Give New Era a winner here that can kind of connect everybody else through. Next up, we have probably the most popular player from Survivor 43, Jesse Lopez. Jesse was the one who blindsided his partner Cody with Cody's Idol. He was a fire-making challenge win away from easily dominating Survivor 43, and it's just a great confessionalist, somebody that people connect to. He is perfect to have on this season, Survivor 50. I know his son has had some Mr. Beast video win in his repertoire, so it's only fair that we give the dad another shot to bring home a W for that family. Now, a new person in this cast list from Survivor 48, Camilla Carthagenisu. I butchered your name, Camilla, but you were entertaining throughout. You ended up going out and fire-making, and much just like Jesse, you might have been a fire-making win away from being the sole Survivor winner on season 48. You showed excellent type of maneuvering and strategy with your partner Kyle, who ended up winning the season. You understood the game well, and you even set up layups for Kyle in that tribal council to push him over the edge. I think she would be great to put on the Survivor 50 season, fresh off our minds. Gets to see herself in a new role, a new game, and see how things work out for Camilla. Another winner for the new era I have from Survivor 42, Marianne Okech. This is probably my favorite season of the new era, and a lot of it is because Marianne's journey and the way Marianne played the game and capitalized on her game was outstanding. Being able to play at the bottom but have the social skills to have the top keep dragging you around and be able to start like chopping off the top as you went around, and nobody even thought about you as a threat. You understood the way survivors played. You know the game very well. Marianne is a great confessionalist. She brings a lot of energy to Survivor. She will know how to navigate this game throughout, and I just think it'd be a great person to have on Survivor 50. Coming along with Marianne, though, from Survivor 42 is her close ally that she betrayed in the plurality extra vote, and that's Omar Zahir. The bird whisperer himself was a great force in that game. Had a mix of great power, great confessionals. He was lively on the island. He wasn't afraid to do things on the island, and he also wasn't afraid to have a game recognized game in 42 when Marianne took him out. I think he would bring a great atmosphere to the New Era tribe, and will remind people why 42 I think is an underrated great season of this new era. Now, it would be a big mistake if I didn't put Q on this list. Q in Survivor 46 was a standout, great confessionals, great energy, was not afraid to cause drama on the island, was not afraid to put his Q sense out there, and I imagine we're going to see more Q in Survivor 50 in actual casting, but for my new era list, he is somebody I would put out there on Survivor 50 for the New Era tribe. Q, I am not making the big mistake, and I don't know if anybody else on the season wants to make a big mistake, but they know they'll have to think about it if they see you there come day one, Survivor 50. Now, Survivor 41 may be a long time ago for some people, but there's somebody I remember being a pretty strong player and having a chance to make a run at the end, and that's Ricard Foyer. Ricard had a pretty excellent game paired with somebody else I might talk about later, Shan Smith, but I just think he's a great character, gave great confessionals, and he's a good representative of my new era. Now, my new era here does have somebody from every season of Survivor we've had, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48, and Ricard is my Survivor 41 representative so far. My Survivor 47 representative, Sam Phelan. Sam was the runner-up of Survivor 47, part of Operation Italy. You can say Andy should be in here, and I wouldn't disagree, but I think Sam gives great confessionals. I think Sam deserves a chance back on that island, and I think Sam was an overall fan favorite from a casual perspective, and even a more hardcore fan perspective, given that he's been involved with the Survivor community elsewhere. I think he understands how to play the game better. I think people will be more willing to talk to Sam and communicate with Sam more and not see him as this bigger threat in this game full of big threats. I would love to see him on the island, make big plays, bring some Operation Italy into the flair for Survivor 50. He's my 47 representative on the island. And then for Survivor 41 again, Shan Smith. She had her own little tune. She was the villain of Survivor 41. A preacher who was not afraid to get down and dirty, betray people, and try to win the game. Maybe her biggest mistake is telling her card, we both can't win this game way too soon, but get her back on this island. Look, bring that Shan energy back here, and just let this new era crew kind of come together, have her play against Carolyn, have her play against Dee. A lot of great energy coming from Shan overall. So yeah, you can see here my full legend crew, my full new era crew. Now, how would I work this season? Well, first, 39 days is a must. 39 days is a must for this season. I don't care what they say. If it was up to me, it'd be 39 days. We would get 2 tribe swaps pre-merge, meaning that this Legends and New Era tribe, they'll swap it up twice, so by the time the merge comes around, we're going to have an actual group here that merges for me at 11, because I'm going to have a 8-person jury. We're going to be merging at we're merging at 12. So the first merge vote will be the final person out of the jury, pre-jury. Merge at 12. Jury starts at 11. So 2 swaps pre-jury, and from there on out, we let this whole entire game run forth. I think I have a great mix of people from the original seasons of Survivor. We have representations of every decade. You know, the first decade, you have Amber Moriano and Vesepia. For the second decade, Sari, Amanda, Earl, Ozzy. For the 20s, you can put Ozzy in there as well. For the 30s, you have your Angelina, your Christian, and your Mike White. Then you have your new era representation of all the seasons. 41, you have Ricard and Shan. 42, you have Marianne and Omar. 43, you have Jesse. 44, you have Carolyn. 45, you have Dee. 46, you have Q. 47, you have Sam. And 48, you have Camilla. I think this is well-rounded. I think this is a stacked cast that would deliver both for casual fans, for hardcore fans, for a well-rounded game, for strategy, for comp making. I think this is the best cast out there that anybody can make. And tell me in the comments if you agree below. And I can't wait to react to the extra Survivor 50 cast later this week. So like and subscribe to the channel for that. And yeah, Big Brother season's coming up. So Big Brother 27, all the coverage going to happen here, as well as Survivor First of the World when that comes out. Like and subscribe to the channel here. Do movie reviews. Tell me your big cast. Tell me what I got right. Tell me what I got wrong. I'm excited to just communicate about Survivor 50 and eventually Survivor 49 when it hits this fall.